You're watching Rurouni K95's movie review on Boot Hill. Hi, Ruronis. This is your pal Rurouni K95 here. Today's movie review, we get to cover another movie with Terence Hill and Bud Spencer. Once again, for today's movie review is Boot Hill. In Italian, it is translated as La Collina degli Stivali, which is the Hill of Boots, translated as well. But or Boot Hill is yeah, that's what it's called. Boot Hill is a 1969 Italian spaghetti western film starring Terence Hill and Bud Spencer. Boot Hill was the last film in a trilogy that started with God Forgives I Don't and followed by Ace High, which is directed by director Giuseppe Colizzi. And yes, this movie features the cast in the movie Boot Hill. And yet, this movie was re-released again as Trinity Rides Again, which is particularly in the alternate title as well, particularly to explain what it is about Boot Hill as well. Yeah. So that's the reason why. So Boot Hill was first released in 1969, particularly which is the final film directed by Giuseppe Colizzi as well. Come to think of it, the film was re-released as Trinity Rides Again, which started the Trinity movies, such as the more popular ones, which we'll get to in just a moment. So, without any further ado, which is right here and right now, let's review the movie Boot Hill. Let's begin. One night in the Old West, a man named Cat tries to ride out of town and is ambushed by a large number of men. He is wounded but manages to lure them away and hides in a wagon belonging to a circus company. Outside town, the wagons are searched by men who are shot by Cat and the trapeze artist Thomas, who was a former gunfighter. Yep. Cat leaves the company as soon as he can travel. The same night, men arrive and search the wagons during the show, particularly, and discovers traces of him. To retaliate, they shoot down Thomas's partner Joe during their performance. Thomas finds Cat and nurses him back to health, saying that he needs him as a bait for my trap. Cat takes him to Hutch, who lives in a house together with another big man who is called Baby Doll, who is played by the famous actor named George Eastman, who is known for the 1972 film with Charlton Heston, The Call of the Wild, as well. Yeah, the character Baby Doll in the movie Boot Hill, he's basically a mute, and Hutch receives Cat with hostility. Cat explains that Sharp, a friend of Hutch who is a prospector who needs help to stop mining boss Fisher taking his claim, and that Cat had won the deed to the claim in a rigged poker game to be able to take it out of town. That is why he was attacked in the beginning, which is probably in the beginning of the movie Boot Hill as well. Yep. Hutch reluctantly agrees to come along together with Baby Doll. Baby Doll. They find the remnants of the circus with its manager, Mommy, refit it, and gather the artists. Yep. At the mining town, a commissioner arrives to review the claims, but the miners are afraid to talk to him, except for the McGavin family. But they are, say, each in their home, and eventually destroyed with a dynamite by the large outlaw band of Finch, who cooperates with Fisher. However, at night, a message was delivered to the commissioner in his room by a dwarf, which is from the circus, particularly. By this time, as the morning comes, when the circus arrives and the commissioner convinces Fisher to invite everybody to the show, at the circus show, they perform pantomimes about the threat to the miners and the killing of the McGavins. The miners find guns under their seats, while Fisher's men find feathers. There is a fight, and Fisher's men are killed. The four go out to face the might of the Finch gang in a nightly fight. They get at help from the circus people, including dwarves and can-can dancers, particularly what you see in the movie Boot Hill with Terence Hill and Bud Spencer as well. If you ever seen the movie as well, we'll get to that in a moment. And eventually, the miners also join in, and the gang is wiped out. Fisher shoots Mommy in the back. Cat appears and says it will render Fisher the gallows unless he wants to try his luck with the gun. Fisher lays it down, and Mommy says that makes him the real clown. At the end of the movie, Cat Stevens and Hutch Bessie ride away together while Baby Doll, who has started talking, stays with one of the can-can dancers at the circus. And that's how you end the movie Boot Hill, where Cat Stevens and Hutch Bessie rode off into the sunset as the credits roll at the end of the movie Boot Hill. So that's my review on the movie Boot Hill. Come to think of it, Boot Hill was first released in 1969, particularly has got a DVD and VHS release when it was released originally. Wild East, Wild East Productions released the 92-minute international version on out-of-print limited edition DVD in 2003. In September 2015, the film was re-released as a double bill with Django the Bastard from Retrovision Entertainment. It features both Italian and English audio. So, for the thing about particularly the movie Boot Hill was re-released as Trinity Rides Again, but it's basically under the alternative name because it's basically Boot Hill, which is particularly the movie Boot Hill was directed by Giuseppe Colizzi, who is best known for his spaghetti western movies that featured Terence Hill and Bud Spencer, such as the movies like Ace High and God Forgives I Don't, particularly as well. Ironically, God Forgives I Don't is the first Terence Hill and Bud Spencer movie, which was released in 1967, and same with Ace High, which was released in 1968, which is on Halloween as well. Come to think of it, this is particularly part of the Giuseppe Colizzi trilogy as well, which is that's how this made Terence Hill and Bud Spencer famous. And this movie did feature Woody Strode, who is known for his work in movies and television series in general. This movie did feature Woody Strode, who played King of Utopia in The Ten Commandments, and he also did City Beneath the Sea, as well as he also did known for his other works such as The Italian Connection, Cowboy San, Ravengers, Jaguar Lives, as well as and he's also known for The Black Stallion Returns in that movie. Forgot to mention that. And this movie did feature Victor Buono, who is an actor, comic, and recording artist who is from San Diego, California, in this particular movie with Terence Hill and Bud Spencer, particularly in the movie Boot Hill. Yeah, because he was known as a guest star for a premiere of the television series The Wild Wild West, particularly. I forgot to mention that. And come to think of it, this is how Terence Hill and Bud Spencer are known for in the movie Boot Hill before they started commercially successful movies like They Call Me Trinity and Trinity Is Still My Name. From the retrospective views, in his investigation of narrative structures, particularly in spaghetti western films in general, Burt Friedlund writes that all of the Colizzi westerns present clever variations on several different kinds of partnerships encountered in other films that are inspired by for a few dollars more, which is particularly the Clint Eastwood movie. Ironically, it's because Clint Eastwood was more known for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Also, the pervading protagonists, Cat Stevens and Hutch Bessie, are differentiated by the set of physical and personal characteristics that appear in the even more commercially successful movies that they're known, which Terence Hill and Bud Spencer are known for, is specifically They Call Me Trinity, and Trinity is still my name. Which is probably up until they did action comedy movies such as Watch Out, We're Mad, as well as Crime Busters, Double Trouble, Odds and Evens, Go For It, also known as Nati Con La Camicha, as well, which is probably before. Terence Hill was also in other separate movies like My Name is Nobody with Henry Fonda, and same with Bud Spencer in the movie Bomber, The Sheriff and the Satellite Kid, Everything Happens to Me, also known as Chissà Perché Capitano Tutti e Me, Banana Joe, and Bomber as well. Because this is how because Terence Hill and Bud Spencer's real names are Carlo Peter Soli and Mario Garotti because they are Italian. Because come to think of it, Boot Hill was particularly also available in, besides the DVD releases separately, it's also available in these spaghetti Western film pack DVD sets that are released under Mill Creek Entertainment, particularly. Oh, and also, speaking of spaghetti westerns, Bud Spencer was also in another movie called It Can Be Done Amigo with Francisco Rabal in that one in the 70s as well. Come to think of it, because this is particularly another Terence Hill and Bud Spencer movie that I haven't done a review of since I reviewed my previous movie review on Go For It, which is my first movie review on Terence Hill and Bud Spencer, which is a movie review that I've did before. I mean, if you haven't seen, oh yeah, and also this movie has been distributed theatrically in other countries overseas. Besides Italy, you had the United States, the U.S., Germany, and most likely Germany. Most of these Bud Spencer and Terence Hill films, particularly, have been distributed. Not besides Italy, there's Germany and other countries, but most of them can be dubbed in English when it was released on one of those VHS tapes that are released in the U.S. I mean, can you imagine if Boot Hill would have gotten a Blu-ray remaster under the Warner Archive Collection or Shout Factory? That'll be awesome. That means it'll have better quality for particularly with English and Italian language tracks on there. And yet, this particularly to the extent with other spaghetti western films that Terence Hill and Bud Spencer are known for is They Call Me Trinity and Trinity is Still My Name, which basically they are basically the more popular movies as well, because come to think of it, this is particularly my favorite Terence Hill and Bud Spencer movie, and yet this movie was distributed by Euro International Films as well, and the music was composed by Carlo Rusticelli as well. And yes, Giuseppe Colizzi did the screenplay and did the story and he directed this movie Boot Hill. When it was released in Italy, it was basically translated as La Collina degli Stivalvi. And yet, this movie did feature Lionel Stander, who is known for Cup in the Transformers the movie in this particular movie. This is probably one of his early films as well. So that's going to be it for my movie review on Boot Hill for today's movie review. Thank you for watching, but before we go, here's my thoughts on this. If I get to cover one of the Bud Spencer and Terence Hill movies, including the Trinity movies, I'll probably plan on doing those for the most part for my future movie reviews, even though I have been first reviewed was my previous Bud Spencer and Terence Hill movie that I reviewed, which was particularly Go For It, also known as Nati Con La Camicha. If you haven't seen Boot Hill, highly recommend you watch it on YouTube, or you can get it on DVD. Hope subscribe for content. My Anime Planet link in the description below. You can share this video on our Twitter, Facebook. If you have a Twitter, Facebook account, and all social media, be sure to give this video a thumbs up by clicking on the like button on this video. Feel free to leave in the comments in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, RuroniCan95. Feel free to join my channel, especially if you're new to my channel. Hit the notifications bell button, and I got another movie review coming up next here. Stay tuned for my next movie review. I got a new movie I haven't done a review on, starting with tomorrow's movie review on An American Tail. Until tomorrow.